Recently, Rainbow Six Siege Pro League player Luiz admitted to using a new, undetectable cheat in a ranked match. His account was banned and he was indefinitely suspended from his org. On top of that, the coach for that same org was accused of grooming and gaslighting an underage girl. These two controversies highlight a complicated story that started nearly a year ago, one that's captivated the Siege world. Hello people watching this video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a Siege story ever again. And if there's a story that you want to see us cover on Don't At Me, send a tip to tips@thescore.com. Okay, first let me explain this cheating situation. Back on April 21st, clips of Pro League player Luiz allegedly cheating in a ranked match started making the rounds on Twitter.
He just wants to try it out for himself.
Yo, watch it.
Yo! Yo, no way! No, wait, did he not see the kill cam? Did he just not watch the kill cam?
No way.
I didn't watch it. I had been watching. You were calling about me.
In all three clips, you can hear the enemy comms in complete disbelief over Luiz allegedly cheating. On Twitter, the response was similar. People clearly thought this guy was cheating. Not long after that, Luiz said that no, he wasn't cheating and that he just got lucky. Then, shortly after that, according to him, his account was manually banned by someone at Ubisoft or Faceit. And Faceit, if you didn't know, helps Ubisoft run Siege Pro League. What's important to note here is that the ban is apparently unrelated to BattlEye, which is Ubisoft's automatic anti-cheat detection system. From there, Luiz posted a now deleted twitlonger admitting that yes, he did cheat in one ranked game on one map on one round. He even gives the specifics to how he did it, and we'll get to that in just a second. Quote, "This was a big mistake and I fucked up. When the clips started getting a lot of attention, I got scared and lied, saying that it was luck, which in hindsight was also a mistake." For those that don't know what the wireframe is, it is an exploit graphic bug in-game that can be toggled on through Intel monitor graphics. Here's what it looks like. "This has been a big mistake and will never happen again." End quote. Now, I interviewed Luiz, and the first thing I asked him to do was expand on why he cheated. Here's an absurdly talented kid playing for a team that qualified for the biggest tournament of the year. Why throw it all away?
It was just a dumb mistake. I was just curious, I guess. I used it for the first round and then I turned it off. I was like, this is just so dumb. And I deleted it like round 2. I was like, this was sus as fuck. I shouldn't have done that. This is so dumb. And like the only thing that could happen happened.
So yeah, again, according to him, he used the cheat for one round on one map, realized what he was doing was incredibly stupid, and then allegedly turned it off. Now, towards the end of his twitlonger, Luiz talks about this wireframe exploit that you can toggle on and off, and apparently it's related to Intel's graphics performance analyzer. More specifically, the exploit could be found within a free Intel NVIDIA program that was easy to download, and essentially it turned off walls. Here's a clip of someone named Nuke explaining and calling out the exploit on Twitter.
Hey yo, I'm about to show y'all how to do the wireframe shit so it can get patched. So listen, bro. You open Google, you literally just type Intel GPA, download, then it's gonna do like this shit. Just do Windows download. Now I already have it, so it doesn't matter. What the fuck? Alright, now we go there, graphics monitor. So it's gonna download. Just do open as admin. Alright, now you're in that bitch. So you just go there. You put everything here on, and then you go in there, shortcuts, and then show wireframe. You just bind the key you want, and now you just do that shit, and then you open the game, and then you press whatever key you set it up to, then you can have free wall X. So yeah, I'm gonna post that shit on Twitter. Please Ubisoft patch this. This is crazy.
A Siege community developer replied that that exploit was patched. Nuke said no it wasn't and provided another clip. At this point in time, it's unclear if this exploit has been fully patched. And this isn't like one of those cheating subscriptions that you pay for that we've covered on this show in the past. No, this is free software that you can easily just download. Now, when I asked Luiz to help me understand why at first he denied cheating, then admitted to it in a twitlonger, but then deleted that twitlonger, he said that he panicked and essentially didn't want those clips to go viral.
Yes, I was scared because like the only thing that could happen happened. and I knew I made a mistake. I was like, I fucked up so bad.
Now, after Luiz admitted to cheating, Parabellum Esports, the org that he was signed to, released this statement. Quote, "We are aware of the current situation in regards to Luiz PB. Parabellum does not condone cheating by any of our players. Luiz has been suspended indefinitely without pay from Parabellum Rainbow Six. Luiz was not one of the members joining our roster for the Six Invitational. That roster will be revealed in the coming days. We have requested information on next steps from Ubisoft in regards to the remainder of the NACL season. We will update as information is given to us." End quote. Now, Parabellum says that they've reached out to Ubisoft for further instruction, but so far, Ubisoft has not publicly said anything about the incident. I also reached out to Parabellum for comment. Here's what they had to say.
What I can say right now is that we are communicating with Ubisoft and Faceit as they are currently investigating the whole situation still. So we did wait to suspend him until the ban was official, and then we suspended him indefinitely. And we are currently, like I said, in contact with Ubisoft and are currently waiting for some more information in regards to the next steps with Luiz and what's going to happen with him.
So that was the recent cheating news, but let's back up and talk about how we got here, because frankly, the lead up to this incident is pretty severe. This complicated story begins in 2020 with the now defunct Canadian division of Ubisoft's new Rainbow Six Siege Pro League, which debuted in May of that year. In theory, the new LAN League was supposed to be based in Las Vegas, and all of the teams participating were supposed to live there. But then the pandemic happened, which caused a lot of orgs to back out of this new league, dropping entire rosters with little notice. This pissed a lot of people off and caused a lot of controversy early on. We covered this story extensively at the time. After Pro League Season 11 ended in May, Ubisoft ended their contract with ESL, and over the next year, Ubisoft debuted a new version of Pro League that we're currently in right now. Anyway, a relatively unknown org named Altiora completely destroyed the limited competition in the Canadian League and won the entire thing. Then, in December, Altiora beat a bunch of Tier 1 orgs like Disrupt Gaming and Supersonics to qualify for the Six Invitational, the esports' most prestigious tournament. And for a small Canadian squad to qualify for Siege's biggest tournament was a giant deal at the time. I mean, just look at how hyped these guys are.
Working in tandem with one another, they've managed to take control of Cafe, and Rudy will go in one direction, but there's spirits up and he'll pick up his third kill. Sonar gets it, and the Kings of Canada will compete at the Six Invitational, punching their ticket and defeating Beast Coast by a score of 3-2.
But then a month later, in January 2021, Ubisoft shuttered the Canadian division, citing COVID as a primary reason, and merged it all into one giant North American division. Altiora's entire roster was dropped with basically no warning, and the guys that had just qualified for SI were now without a team. For a while, it looked like Altiora was going to find a replacement US-based roster, but then in February, Ubisoft announced that the org was leaving Siege Esports entirely, again citing COVID as a primary reason. A month after that, in March, Parabellum Esports picked up Altiora's original roster, but replaced Euphoria and Sonar with Luiz, the player who cheated earlier, and Kool-Aid. The sentiment at the time was, okay, cool, this slightly different looking but still insanely talented roster still has a chance to compete at the Six Invitational. Luiz specifically had a lot of heat behind him, and by all accounts was considered a rising talent with a bright future ahead of him. But shortly after he joined Parabellum Esports in March, everything started to fall apart for everyone. On April 13th, Parabellum released a statement announcing that the org had opened an investigation into its coach, Awkward1HP. Quote, "We have opened an investigation regarding our Rainbow Six coach, Awkward1HP. As of April 13th, 2021, we are suspending Awkward without pay from the Parabellum Esports men and women's roster. While we complete this investigation, there will be no contact between any members of the organization except for executives. At this time, Awkward will not be eligible to work with the team during the remainder of the NACL or travel with the team for the upcoming Six Invitational. We at Parabellum Esports condemn any actions that may threaten the safety or damage any of our members, our community, or our brand. We thank everyone for their patience and support while we investigate." End quote. Shortly after Parabellum's first statement, Awkward released a twit longer announcing his retirement from Siege Esports. Quote, "All good things must come to an end. I've been in the esports scene for Siege through the past 5 years, from console all the way to PC, and have worked with so many different people and teams and have enjoyed a large portion of it. With me now graduating college and needing to refocus onto my apprenticeship for the next 5 years, retirement was to be expected. I'd like to thank everyone that helped me get to where I am today, and I'll see you all around." End quote. At this point, the R6 scene had little context as to what the hell happened with Awkward, and shortly after he released his retirement twit longer, Parabellum released another statement. Quote, "With the recent news of our coach Awkward retiring from esports, we would like to give an update on the situation. We were approached by several members of the Rainbow Six Siege esports community with serious allegations towards Awkward. Our team immediately opened an investigation. This investigation will be ongoing regardless of the decision he has made to retire." The next day, on April 14th, a woman named Alessa posted a twit longer titled "The Truth Behind Me and Awkward." In it, she states that she was 16 when her and Awkward began talking. She accuses him of lying about his age, trying to solicit nude photos from her, and generally sending sexually explicit messages when she says she was just looking for a platonic friendship. Quote, "As he made these comments, I never really engaged or flirted back as I thought it was inappropriate, but I did not want to say anything about it because I did not want to believe that he had ill intent. I just wanted a friendship with him, and I figured that he eventually would get my hints that I was not interested like that." End quote. From there, she says that friends got involved and started asking Awkward about the nature of their relationship. Alessa says that it was at this point that Awkward started getting defensive and started, quote, "bashing Alessa to anyone who would listen." Alessa says that she confronted him about this, and that according to her, Awkward acted like he didn't care, and the two began arguing about what he allegedly has said about her. It was at this point that Alessa says she talked to a friend about what to do next. Quote, "I told our friend about how Matt had been making inappropriate comments to me for weeks before that, and they recommended that I go to Parabellum to report him. They got me in contact with Parabellum staff members, and I explained the entire situation. This led to an investigation and Awkward then retiring." End quote. Here's one of the final paragraphs of her twit longer. Quote, "I feel disgusted with him. I dealt with his inappropriate comments and gaslighting for weeks. I know that I should have said something to end it earlier, and I failed to do so. The situation definitely could have ended up way worse than what it did, but it still does not make this situation okay. I did not ask for this to happen to me. He should not have been inappropriately speaking to a minor. A minor cannot lead an adult on. His comments were inappropriate, and he needs to take responsibility." End quote. This brings us all the way back around to Luiz's cheating incident, which was made public a week after the situation with Awkward went down. It was a pretty tough month for Parabellum. Think about it. You jump into Siege Esports and pick up a supremely talented roster, one that's already qualified for the biggest tournament of the year. You imagine they'd be fucking ecstatic. Fast forward a month, and yes, the roster is still qualified for the 6th Invitational, but now they're missing their coach who was accused of grooming a minor and one of their best players who admitted to cheating. As for Luiz, I'm of two minds. On the one hand, I get it. He cheated. He knew what he was doing and there's no getting around that. So should he face some sort of punishment? But if it was for one round on one map and then he turned it off because he knew what he was doing was stupid and we can prove that, maybe we can give the guy a break? Because of one dumb mistake for the rest of his competitive days, he'll be known as a supremely talented player who cheated and potentially threw away a shot at lifting that giant SI hammer. Towards the end of the interview, I asked Luiz what was next for him, and I gave him a moment to address the Siege scene. Here's what he had to say.
I just want to apologize to everyone involved with the situation, to Ubisoft, Faceit, my friends, my team. It was the biggest mistake from my part. I don't expect the community to forgive me right away, but I'm ready to take the time needed to make up for it. If I get a second chance, then I will take it.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.